Kids just love the weird but true books, and here comes a new edition. Welcome back to Techstination. I'm Fred Fishkin. Joining us from National Geographic Kids is editor Kathryn Williams. Hi, Kathryn.
Hi.
Well, you've got a brand new Weird But True. This one is World 2023. Incredible facts, awesome photos, and weird wonders for this year and beyond. Another title aimed at sparking curiosity, I think. What are some of the strangest things that we're going to find here?
Oh my gosh, there's so much stuff in this book. It's really hard for me to pick, my favorite ones or the weirdest ones. But I mean, some of the highlights, I really like some of the weird festivals around the world that people do. I love people really getting into doing weird stuff. So one of them is a bog snorkeling competition in Wales where people put on snorkeling gear, they put on flippers, and they basically swim through this muddy bog, and they see who can do it the fastest. Sometimes they wear dinosaur costumes, sometimes they dress like sharks. And there's also an extra element to the competition where some people ride their bikes with a snorkel on. So they're riding their bike underwater while snorkeling in a bog. It's very funny. It's just an example of how weird humans can be and how fun the world is.
Yeah, and you take us all around the world in the books. The chapters are dedicated to different regions of the world.
Yeah, so we have the first chapter is what's weird this year. We've chosen our top weirdos, animals, photos, things like that, and then we get into going around the world. So we have every continent, all kinds of weird stuff. We tried to get things from different countries within each continent. We have a map full of weird facts in every chapter, and then at the very end we do a chapter on sea and outer space as well.
And a lot of these have to do with animals too, right?
Yeah, there's always tons of animal content in our books, and this one's no different.
So what's the age range that these are intended for? They appeal to just about everyone, I think.
Yeah, so they are intended towards an 8 to 12 middle grade audience, but I find as an adult that I'm learning a lot every time I read this book. So great for adults, anybody as well.
Now, you've been there for a number of years. I don't know if you can tell us, but how did the idea for these books come about?
Yeah, so the idea, it takes a village to make most of our books, and this is no different. So this idea came from a bunch of different people kind of working together. So this book, we're trying to do this every year, and we're updating the content every year. And so we're giving kids something fresh, but we want this book to kind of come out 2023, 2024. And we have another book that we do like that called The Almanac, which our readers love, the National Geographic Kids Almanac. It's been out for over a decade. And so we were wondering, what else can we do that comes out every year to kind of give this audience that wants to collect this book every year, give them something new. And simultaneously, we have this series called Weird But True, which has smaller books that are just kind of fun facts that are really exciting, really interesting, and visually appealing. And so we thought, we've never done these weird but true facts, but all around the world, which National Geographic is kind of known for showing people the world. So anyway, we combined all of these ideas, and now we have an annual book that we're coming out with every year that showcases what's weird all around the world. It's very, very cool, and it's a lot of different people's ideas kind of coming into one book.
And one of the things that you do is with the copy, you address the, I guess, 7th, 8th graders or whatever in their language and try to talk the way they would talk. Tell us about that and how much of a challenge that is.
Yeah, it's interesting. We've gotten feedback that's really flattering from some parents, that one of the things they like about our books is that we don't talk down to middle school kids. So it's a fun challenge. A lot of the stuff we're explaining can be kind of difficult. So we have it's weird and wacky things around the world, but in some cases, some of these weird things were formed by volcanic activity. And so you have to explain that to someone in middle school, where they need to be able to know it in kind of simple terms, really get the idea of what's going on. They don't have a lot of background knowledge, but also you don't want to talk down to them. So it is a fun challenge. It's difficult, but really rewarding. And we do have our kind of National Geographic Kids tone, which is like very fun, very excited about the things we're presenting in this book. I think like when our writers and editors, you can tell we've had fun writing something. I think it's more likely that our readers will have fun reading it. So that's what we try to do.
And kids typically like things that are gross, so you have to include some of those kinds of things, but I guess you have to draw the line somewhere too, right?
Yeah, it's hard. And we have a lot of conversations in the office because different people, it's a bit subjective sometimes, and different editors and different writers have different thresholds for what they think is too gross. And you never know like what, sometimes parents are more or less sensitive than you might expect, but we definitely have some gross stuff in here, and it is a very funny conversation to try to figure out where that line is.
Does it go in the book or doesn't it go in the book? Right?
Yeah.
Any more of the top weirdos we should know about?
Yeah, I mean, we have tons of weirdos in this book. We have all kinds of weird animals. And I can give you some of those. We have this frog that I really like, kind of frogs, reptiles, things like that. There's a frog in Central Africa called the hairy frog. It's one of my favorites. And it's named the hairy frog because it has these like skin tassels on the side of it. So it looks really weird in photos. But the weirdest thing about it is that it has bones in its fingers that it can kind of pop through its skin and make little claws. So it doesn't always have claws, but if it needs to defend itself, it can create these claws. And so it's also called the Wolverine frog, named after the X-Men, because it can shoot these little claws out. So that's one of my favorite critters in the book. I mean, we have so many like weird animals. There's a chameleon that's so small it can fit on a penny. Really cool photos of that one. And we have this other little bug that people really like, that's called the troll doll bug, and it looks like a troll doll. It has all of these silk strands sticking out of its backside, so it has this kind of like shock of hair coming out of it. It's very funny. And we've got like all of these stunning photos in the book that go with these weird creatures and places.
As you would expect from National Geographic.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure there's lots of kids who would say, boy, I want to do what she does when I grow up.
Yeah, I mean, and it's pretty fun. I don't think that when I was a kid, I don't know if I could have imagined that I'd be doing this, or that this was an option, but yeah, it's pretty cool. And I think like, I mean, just as an aside, one of the things that we hope to do with our books is like show kids all kinds of weird stuff in the world and give them like a more like a broader view of what they can do in the world. Like there's so much stuff out there that most of the time you don't think about. You could study these frogs, you could make books about them, you can study volcanoes, work in Antarctica. There's all kinds of things that you can do. And I think like going through all the weird stuff in the world helps kids kind of figure out what's even out there.
And there's something else that you're doing. You're showing kids that, hey, books can be pretty cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's kind of our goal is always to, capture that reader that might be a little intimidated by nonfiction and say, hey, like it can be, just as fun as fiction, maybe more fun, and like, and hook them with like just fun facts, vibrant text, big photos, and colorful designs. That's our goal.
Where can people go for more info?
You can go to National Geographic Kids website. This book is going to be, well, it's on sale today, so it's available wherever books are sold, so in brick and mortar retailers and online.
Very cool. A weird but true World 2023. Kathryn Williams, thank you so much for spending time with us.
Thank you. It was fun.